Hi, Glenn here from Sound Sanctuary Austin with a very special guest in for one of our events that we do quite regularly here. I've got Allan Haggar, who is VP of Global Sales for Audio Research, a great amplification company out of the Minneapolis area of Minnesota, and we're very excited about the kind of goods he brought to our shop. We have their brand new Ref 20 reference preamp here for our event. This will be the first public listening of that unit outside of AXPONA, where it debuted a few weeks ago. And we've put that with a pair of their Ref 330M Monoblock amps. So we've got that in our reference system, which is the Wilson Alex V with some DCS digital gear. And so we're presenting our reference system, which has typically been with solid state electronics, but at the moment, to perfection. So welcome, Allan. I'm glad to see you. We've had a fun day working demo tunes and listening to the system, and the room is sounding great, so welcome.
Thanks, Glenn.
Allan and I have been corresponding over the last couple of years. I guess I met you probably before AXPONA. You visited our previous location, but I really watched you work some of your other new products, the LS2 or LS3 preamp, and the solid state amps, the S200 at last year's AXPONA. I was not able to make it this year. I would have heard that then, but I've heard it pretty soon after.
You would have heard it twice.
Twice.
Yep.
I got to say I'm impressed. So
Thank you.
Maybe tell us, I guess we've been waiting for these pieces for a while. Why are you so excited about them?
Well, audio research typically replaces let's call it an entry-level reference preamp, like the Ref 5, 5SE, 6, 6SE. Historically, we've been doing it every 4 to 5 years. Not because we have to, but just that seems to be the life cycle that the engineering team
comes up with something new.
It seems it's where the discoveries are made. And the Reference 10, which was descendant of the Reference Anniversary, has been around since 2012.
So you're behind schedule.
Well, in one sense, we could introduce those preamps today new, and if nobody had ever heard of them before, in many ways they're still state of the art. But when the product has been around that long, when that is something that's 10, 12 years old, at a certain point people make discoveries. And the Ref 6 SE is a 2019 product. It's time to do it. So not only is it not every day that we replace a reference preamp, it's not every day, never before have we replaced both reference preamps at once, right? The 6 SE with the 7, the 10 with the 20, and that's really kind of the core of audio research. We've been known since the 70s as a preamp company. We're known very well for our amplifiers, and these fine folks are going to hear them tonight well, but the preamp is really kind of
what you were most famous for, per se.
One of those pioneering companies that actually kind of taught the listening public that the preamp makes a bigger contribution than most listeners think it does. Starting with the SP3 in the 70s, through the Reference 1 in the 90s, all the way up to this, the lineage of that goes down to this. To have 2 new reference preamps out of the gate at the same time, for us is a very, very big deal. Really big deal.
So they've always been dead quiet, low noise floor. What's pushing the envelope with this unit, do you think?
Both of these have a lot more chassis work in them than the prior units. The architecture of
I thought chassis was just aesthetics and whiz-bang, and we overpay for that, right?
As much as can be in a race car. A race car is more than its engine. The drivetrain is great to get you down the track, but being able to maintain that speed depends on body dynamics, suspension, steering. And really the engine of these pieces here is the circuitry. The chassis is literally the body that isolates it from the road, right? So that it can operate at its best. A circuit is only as good as the environment you provide for it, right? So I think Valerio's team pushed this farther in terms of chassis dynamics than we have before.
It's a completely different look. In fact, when I unpacked the unit to put in the tubes, I was like, okay, what do I do? There's not a screwdriver in this set. There's not the usual plexi with the vents on the top. There was no visible grommets.
It's actually nice because you can get the top off with one hand and no tools.
Not if you don't with you, but I eventually tugged at it right, and I'm like, oh, there it is.
At least it's snug. It's such an easy installation.
It's beautiful.
The look really, there is a new look, but there's a little bit more incorporating of the old look, right? There's an evolution that the brand went through about 10 years ago, and I think we wanted to kind of push the line forward based on roots from farther back than 10 years ago. We want to reach back to 20 or even 30 years ago and then push it forward based on probably where that would have gone from that point. So the look is a little bit bolder, heftier. This is much heavier than the prior unit. That's 60 pounds for a preamp in a single chassis. It's a heck of a machine.
And it's got the two big knobs that we're all familiar with, but it is very much an active touch screen with a lot of things to burrow into.
Well, and that's kind of a set it and forget it thing. It's not a tedious unit to go through. It's nothing like a surround sound processor where there's a million things to set. You can do some nice things with gain offset, customizing the color of the front. I can make that white or blue. Obviously, somebody who has an existing audio research preamp who's used to our classic green, you can do this. You can turn the display off. You can name inputs. We're in Texas, so
Texas
there it is. And you can select mono or stereo or phase invert, which is, as we've been experimenting, is a big deal.
Most people don't play around with that, but there are definitely differences in recordings. Some, particularly if they were in Europe, are just record it with different polarity to the mics and the whole board, and you can. It's sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's not subtle at all when it's right or wrong.
Well, the more rhythmic the music is, and the more release there is in the recording, the easier it is to hear. When you have something that's just legato and continuous and also in kind of a dry acoustic, it is still there. You have to work harder to kind of pick up on it. But when there's something that pulses the room and releases into the space, when you get that phase correct, it releases and the sound exhales into the room
as you would expect.
Naturally. And when it's wrong, as it would be on most systems half the time, I mean, I listen to mainly acoustic music, primarily classical. I listen to jazz and classic rock and everything else. But particularly in the realm of acoustical recordings, a good portion of the recordings you listen to are in reverse. And if you're playing the recording in that orientation, there's a certain sense of projection and release that you can't get back
if it's wrong
by any other means.
No.
The only way to play a recording and have it release into the room is to essentially play it in forward, not in reverse, sort of.
Got it.
We want to be out, not in.
So looking at the guts, it does look familiar. You got those big row of capacitors. No thumb depressor underneath it this time when you ship it.
You're welcome.
Try
to make it easier to get into.
I learned about that one after I delivered one or two. Oops.
Don't forget to get it out.
No big deal.
With the 10, we had a separate unit for the power supply. And so we've re-onboarded the power supply here, but there is metal partitioning in there to sort of simulate the two chassis scenario. Now, you might say, is it a compromise? Not really. Do we also now believe that a single chassis is superior to a double? I've already heard that at AXPONA more than a few times. How could you dare replace the Ref 10, which was two-piece, and the anniversary preamp before it, which was two-piece, with a single box and claim that it's better? Well, the Ref 7, which is a significant step down from this, is good enough that it is better than the 10. The 7 is not just there to succeed the 6 SE. We ended up
set a new level.
It's to set a new level. Even the 7 is better than the 10, and this yet better than that. So it's kind of like walking into, I don't know, walk into a BMW dealership with, a credible 10 or 15-year-old car with a 375 horsepower V8 or a 400 horsepower V8.
State of the art back then.
And you're going, are you telling me you can make more power with 6 than 8 today? No, I'm telling you I can make more power with 4 than 8 today, that compared to those engines back there. Does it mean that an 8-cylinder engine doesn't have yet more power? Yes, but the threshold where that gets used just goes up. So this is not a reversal of philosophy, it's just escalation, right? Would we ever design a 2-chassis preamp? I don't know, but if we did, it would end up, because of the state of the art, the parts, the metallurgy of the things that are going into this now, the chassis work to isolate the boards and the tubes from microphonics the way that we've done it. A 2-chassis preamp at this level of engineering would be significantly more expensive than a Ref 10 or even this.
And I mean, it is a hefty price tag, but in the span of your competitors, it's not out of bounds.
No, I you know, when the Ref 600 tube amp came out in the late 90s, its cost was fairly unheard of. Maybe not totally unheard of, but it really was kind of the bleeding edge for the price of an amplifier. And since that time, you know, the rest of the industry has kind of grown up and around all that stuff, and there's a lot of really great, very expensive gear out there, all of which is special and has merit. But this, for what it does, is actually, I'm going to stop short of saying bargain, because it's too much.
Yeah.
But it's really reasonable, considering how spectacularly musical and how resolving
So
it is.
how long does something like that take to develop? Has it been in Skunk Works for years and years? Or,
No, not
or
years.
Really, you had a new thought and just ran with it, and it came together quick?
Most product development cycle is about 12 to 18 months with us. Once a concept kernel emerges and the guys kind of run with it. This took a little bit less than that, but not much, because there were some things kind of hiding out in the wings. In fact, I should tell you, going back to the single versus double chassis, there were multiple engineering candidates for this one. We didn't just decide in the beginning, okay, we're going to throw out the 2-chassis piece, go with a single chassis piece because we think we can get it. We actually had 2 parallel tracks. The first engineering candidate to come up to replace the 10 was a double chassis unit, and we listened to it, and it was better. It was the first preamp that I'd ever heard in my whole life that I thought was on balance better than a 10. And after a while, because of various budget elements and things with metal and isolation and all sorts of different vagaries that go into making a 2-chassis piece, this other piece came farther along to the point where this was actually better due to the chassis. Because the 2-chassis piece did not have as much isolation or as much outer work, body work, as this one does.
Okay.
And when you start to look at how much it cost to make a double chassis, it became radically more expensive. This was actually a better piece in the end.
It makes sense in the market.
Than that. So sure, I mean, a two-box solution theoretically still has its advantages, but the threshold where that becomes viable has now escalated. Right. So right now, this is the best we make. It's the best we've ever had. It's with ease the best I've ever heard. I would say the 7 is the best I've ever heard, but for this one. And prior to that, the 10 was the best I've ever heard.
So we have a 7 coming for our demo suite. We have one of the earlier orders in, so we'll have that here to listen to, hopefully within a month or so. So, and you brought along also the monoblocks have been out for what, about a year?
Those are July 24, actually.
Okay. Oh wow,
Yeah.
It's been that long.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
What they are amazing, and
For us,
of course, you've read. I'm sure our viewers have read those reviews. I can confirm that in person the reviews are accurate, and
Yeah.
I know you're quite. We talked a lot about what it's not the qualifier of for a tube amp. This is doing this well. It's just like for an amp.
For an amp.
Yeah.
The goal with this was to really put the flag in the ground in a way for tube technology by making the achievements of the amplifier universal.
Oh, so I know you're quite proud of the monoblocks, and it's not just saying they're great for tube amps. It's really they're just great for amps. So what have you done there?
Well, we did, as you said, we wanted to make the achievements of this amplifier kind of universal just for an amplifier. You know, tube amps are known as musical, having a nice sense of flow. They're natural. They're non-mechanical. But what are they classically deficient at? Like, people kind of expect a tube amp to have nice bass, but not terribly deep.
Not always controlled.
Not always controlled. Maybe not the most dynamic. They're relaxed, maybe to a fault. And not necessarily the most transparent or the most dynamic with the most jump factor when the music really calls for it. And the manifesto with this is that a tube can achieve everything that you need the music to do for you. Right? The color palette is there, the texture is there, the sense of drive and urgency is there. It's relaxed and it's effortless. The sound is very, very authoritative. These have tons of authority, but they're never forced. They're relaxed and composed, but not sedate, not lazy.
I think liquid, but I don't know if that's that's not just, versus dry. I mean, I don't know, but there's a beauty to how these things sound.
They're very beautiful. There's lots of, even liquid almost, it's almost kind of like beyond that, because there's a texture to each instrument that goes beyond just smooth or beyond just warm.
Yeah, but you said it's the dynamics that is the achievement with these 330Ms.
Yeah, when the music says go pop, they go pop.
Yeah, crazy.
Quite well. And even down low, when the music says come in like a Mack truck, they really do. So the fun factor is there. We're going to play some stuff tonight that will have people
going what?
Up out of their seats and probably looking at it going, I don't think I've heard an amp do that before.
And when you look at them, it's not that it's necessarily so much bigger. I mean, there's a couple more tubes, but it's all the supporting circuitry and the control that was designed into this that are the difference.
Yeah, well, this amplifier wasn't always slated to be a 330. Common question we get is, isn't this just a Ref 160 with more gain? Right, you double the power, you get a few extra decibels, and that's about it.
And it was about to become that.
It was about to become that. When Valerio took the helm, we had a design on the table called the 320, and it was a credible amplifier. It was more like a 160M currently is configured with more tubes. It was 8 KT150 tubes, the same input section, and mostly the same back-end treatment. This is a completely different amplifier, and we wanted to make the best amplifier we could, the best amplifier we'd ever made. Val wanted to kind of put the flag in the ground.
Which should be always the achievement from all the, I would say the vendors that I would deal with, every new model really is pushing the envelope to greater satisfaction. I mean, I wouldn't be representing them if I thought the new stuff was worse. But I mean, I see you guys marching ahead and getting to new levels, and congratulations are in order.
Thank you. This was based on a different tube, different back end treatment, different front end treatment. It's actually, 320 to 330 doesn't sound like a drastically different nomenclature, but it's a completely different device from the ground up. So, prior to this, the big Ref 750, which is a frankly massive amplifier, was our best. This is easily better across in every way, including sheer scale. No, it's not.
Can it heat a room better though?
No, it is much cooler. In fact, I will tell you, it is much cooler than most of the solid state amplifiers that it.
Because you hear that criticism, isn't this going to be hot in my room? And
compared to what?
Yeah.
Right. Compared to what options you have, in most cases, actually no. The heat factor with these is modest.
You didn't even do a tube cage on this one, so or is that available or not?
No, we will do a tube cage for people who want it.
Yeah.
Very few people want it.
Yeah, I've never left mine on it because it's just such a visually striking piece. And I have a client for the 160 amps, I guess, who put them on the top shelf of his amp stand so that he could look through the meters into the tubes, quite really on display.
I've had a few that'll put these amplifiers on the top shelf.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you're sitting there. It's perfect.
Yep.
I love it.
A little awkward with the turntable, but
turntable.
Okay. Well, we have a couple clients that will be offended by that.
That's right. Fighting words. Shots fired.
Exactly.
That's okay.
I love all musics. So now, it's not that you didn't have a perfect pairing for the amps, but now with the Ref 20, with the Ref 7, what a superstar package.
Yeah, and to have all of these things be fairly young products at the same time is a treat, right? If you went back about 3 years, we had maybe 14 or 15 products in our product catalog, and over the long haul, Audio Research will introduce 2 or 3 products a year. 4 max, and that's the exceptions. Usually 2 to 3, so 4 to 6 months apart, and it takes about 7 years to roll over the entire catalog and make everything new. But it's on a rolling basis. There's never a moment where everything is new at the same time. It's just not. It's not feasible.
Smart for many reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, due to the fact that we have more engineers in-house now than we've ever had, at any point, even Bill Johnson, with all of the resources that were there, there's more engineering talent on the board now than there was then. Last year, we did 7 products in 7 months.
Wow.
These are the first 2 this year. We're just announcing the Ref 80X, so that's 3. And that just gets us through July. There's no telling what might come after that. Plus this, so since July of 24, in less than 2 years, remember I said we had 14 products before, 11 new products since July of 24, 10 of which are from 2025.
Wow.
Or newer.
Busy times in Minneapolis. It's what's the town that you're at? It's
Maple Grove.
Maple Grove, that's right.
But it's near Minneapolis, just a 7 hour.
Great place to visit in summer.
Yeah.
Although Alan lives in Chicago, so
hey, better.
Everything's relative.
No, it's not that cold. It's
sure.
Not, it's not. Hey, just because you're from Texas.
No, my parents lived in the Minneapolis area in my young adulthood, so
is that right?
I've had a Christmas there or 2.
Well, I'm from a combination of Michigan and Chicago, back and forth, so I know what this is like. But even for me, Minneapolis is a special kind of freezing cold.
Yeah, we were relaying each other's personal history over, I guess, dinner last night, and it's like we both were initially engineering students,
both
Midwestern colleges, and we both like, I don't want to do this math for the rest of my life. Next. I chose business and was a Wall Street guy for most of my adult life, and then this is a great part 2 passion project for me. You went to music, and you've stayed music, and
I've stayed music, and I found this, and in the 2 things in tandem have brought me here. It's been fun.
Wonderful stuff. Yeah, so you majored in music. You
I did.
Do a lot of performance yourself. So that really does tune the ear to what music is supposed to sound like. And I think it's great to be with a company that's delivering that for somebody to do it at home to hear.
It gives me a good why to go to work in the morning. This is not just product for me. It is.
It's lifeblood. Yeah.
But there's mission to it that's real and that's genuine, and audio research is a very special place, and so being somebody who is a pro performer on a part-time basis, let's call it that. I only get out to be able to do these things once in a while, but when we do, they're nice. I've been on a few choral recordings. One was nominated for a Grammy a few years ago. And,
oh wow.
We have a couple reference recordings releases, and they're great fun to do, and they're intense. You take a week or 2 off from work to go do these things, and they are more fulfilling, than the day-to-day, but they're also more stressful. They're not a vacation. When you're running a sales organization at this level, there's a lot of different tasks that go into that. So there's, the normal amount of stress that's inevitably going to come with that. But then you go to do a project like that, and the stress level doesn't go down, it goes up. It's intense, but it is immersive, and it's fun, and it sticks with you forever.
So what do you do to de-stress, I guess?
I have my 4 children.
Oh, that sounds de-stressful.
No, they're wonderful, and I love them, and they bring me happiness. How do you de-stress? I don't know. You take a little staycation here and there, play some golf, hit the road, be by yourself every once in a while.
I find my role in this business very interesting. Like a lot of times it's just hanging out, listening to music, playing things for people.
Yeah.
But there does seem a way for me to perspire nearly every day.
There is.
On hands and knees, looking things up. And
I think the de-stress is actually this. This is the vacation, especially to sit there at night. It doesn't have to be loud and bombastic. Everybody could have gone to bed, turn most of the lights off downstairs, just 1 or 2 dim lamps, put on something nice, even at a low level. We share this with our clients and our friends every day. we consume this ourselves.
Yeah.
You know,
No, we were
I'm
running
here
through
'cause I
some of
believe
the.
it.
We're going through some of the demo clips, and then I just start smiling like, we get to do this.
Yeah, we get to do this.
We get to do this. It's
So
very awesome.
I think listening to this is one of the big de-stressors, and it's a daily sort of cleanse, as opposed to, okay, what do you do to de-stress? Well, we go to the mountains once a year for 2 weeks. I can't really facilitate that with everything else that's going on.
Vacation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, the music has always been an escape for me, and then we just, it's a daily part. It's like breathing. And so I think we've now got a destination for both of our clients to maybe experience and work into their home system. So we encourage you to come and have a listen. Your audio research's stuff is getting even more prominent in our shop, and I'm not going to say see what tube magic is, just see what audio research magic is.
Yeah. There's a long tradition with this. We have solid state gear. We still love our tube gear, but honestly, we want to bring people into as close of communication with the artistry and the music as we can, and it's been the company from the beginning.
All right. Well, thank you, Allan. I really appreciate your efforts and support.
Thanks, Glenn. All right, let's have some fun tonight, huh?
Exactly.
All right.